Once Hudson Clement unexpectedly hit the portal, I think we all knew all bets were off this transfer portal cycle. And now we've had another West Virginia wide receiver following Hudson Clement's footsteps enter the portal as well. We're going to talk about that, but we're also going to talk about some potential replacement options that West Virginia could look at. Let's get into it. What's going on, Mountaineer Nation? Welcome back into the Country Roads webcast here for another transfer portal update. They've been coming hot and heavy thus far this offseason. Feel like that will probably continue as West Virginia not only has players leaving, but soon we're going to have players coming in. We've got players on visits. I talked about that in a recent live stream. Go back and catch up on some of those if you haven't already. I'll talk about a couple more here, potential targets and some guys visiting here towards the tail end of this stream. But we're going to lead it off talking about the latest transfer portal entry for West Virginia, and that's Teron Grant. But before we get into that, just want to give you guys a quick reminder, if you would, just do us a favor, hit that thumbs up button, giving us a like on this video. Really helps a ton with that YouTube algorithm, helps this find more Mountaineer football fans like yourself. And if you are a big-time WVU football fan, be sure you're subscribed here to the channel, where we'll be covering this roster as it builds and be covering the coaching staff news as well. A bunch to talk about this offseason, and we'll be talking about it all here on the CRW. And if you're interested in supporting us monthly, you can do that as well by becoming a channel member here, where you get bonus WVU football content, player grades, snap counts, depth charts, game reviews, film reviews, all kinds of stuff. So extra bonus content there if you can't ever get enough, if you're a big-time WVU football fan like a lot of people are here, and we always appreciate our channel members. Help keep the mics recording and the cameras rolling. But like I said, the fast, easy, and free way is just hit that thumbs up button real quick. Just take a second and do that, and subscribe here to the channel. Having said that, let's get into the December 22nd transfer portal update here on the CRW. All right, so the impetus for this update seems like every one of these we've done lately have been talking about multiple players, but this one's only one player, and it's Teron Grant entering the portal. Actually happened on December 21st. I didn't get a chance to put anything out that day, though, so coming at it early this morning to put this out on December 22nd. So who knows? We could have another transfer portal update coming later today. You may be seeing my face yet again. We'll see what happens throughout this Sunday. But of course, Teron Grant caught 46 passes for 747 yards and 7 TDs in his 2 seasons with WVU. And unfortunately, this year ended in tragic fashion, as we all saw the leg injury. And so I'm kind of surprised that he's entering the portal while injured. I thought he would stay at WVU, recover, and then see what happens, but I'm sure he will probably still have some suitors. He's shown himself to be a good deep threat. He can take the top off defenses. He was really the only West Virginia receiver on the roster this year that did that until Hudson Clement started doing it more in the bowl game. But Teron Grant, I think, is a talented player. Hate to lose him, hate to lose another starting receiver, but West Virginia will have some options for replacements that I think are pretty talented. We'll talk about those momentarily. But before we get there, first, let's pull up our transfer portal tracker here on the CRW and see where we're staying now with all the players that have transferred out thus far throughout this offseason. All right, and as you can see here, I've covered all of these in previous transfer portal updates. You can go back and catch them on the channel. They're all dated with the date, so you know kind of in chronological order what happened and when. But just go to the playlist there, the transfer playlist, I believe it is, or the WVU Sports News playlist on the channel. One of the two. And, of course, the most recent one here now, Teron Grant joining Hudson Clement, Jaheim Joseph, Abinon Wuka, C.J. Donaldson, Day Farmer, Johnny Williams, Thomas Remack, Aiden Garnes, Trey Lathan, Sully Weedman, Ryder Burton, Jalen Anderson, Josiah Trotter, TJ Crandall, Will Dixon, Josiah Jackson, and Raleigh Collins. And there's been 2 or 3 walk-ons that have left the program as well. But, of course, I'm only covering the scholarship player here on our transfer portal tracker. So that's where things sit currently. But have no fear, West Virginia is going to start bringing in guys as well to help build this roster. Not only will they do that now in this window, but they'll do it again in the spring. Just want to keep reminding you guys of that. And also, can't leave out that the door is sometimes open for these guys to return to WVU. Sometimes guys like to enter the portal, see what their market value is, see what kind of offers they get, maybe come back, see if their program wants to match it. It's that type of thing. It's almost like a free agency type deal. So you never can rule out guys potentially returning, but this is where we sit thus far with transfers out. And like I said, I think that's less likely to happen with a coaching change, guys returning, but you never know. But that's where we sit as far as transfers out currently here on our December 22nd transfer portal update. But there are some guys I think we can look at as potential targets, and let's talk about a couple of those guys that may be coming to West Virginia, or we'd like to see come to West Virginia from Jacksonville State. There's a couple of guys I think that we could be interested in at the receiver position specifically. And one of those that I think is very interesting is Jared Bowie, because we just saw him enter the portal recently after the Jacksonville State Bowl game where he had his best game yet at Jax State, and he's a player with 2 years of eligibility left. But this one's interesting because he's also a West Virginia native, and funny enough, just like the player that just entered the portal a couple of days ago, Hudson Clement, also from Martinsburg. You see his announcement there of entering the portal that he put out on social media, and then WV Metro News High School Sports shared this just to remind people. Of course, Bowie was the 2019 Metro News Player of the Year and a Martinsburg High School graduate, as I stated there. And let's take a look here at some of his numbers this past season, specifically his numbers from that bowl game where he really stood out and made some great plays. So you can see he'd be a junior, 2 years of eligibility remaining, 13 catches, 207 yards this past year. But the big standout is in the bowl game here. They ended up losing by 3, but he was a big reason that led to their comeback, and they almost had a chance there at the end. 4 catches, 105 yards, including a 58-yarder. Also had 2 carries for 19 yards. He's a fast guy. He would be utilized, I think, by Rich Rod. It would be a good pickup. Obviously, being an in-state guy, I'd like to see us go after him. So we'll see if West Virginia targets him now that he's in the portal, but keep an eye on that one. And then let's talk about another one that I think would be really, really big. And that is a Jacksonville State player that's currently in the portal as well, and it's Cam Vaughn. And guys, Cam Vaughn, look at the numbers there, 49 receptions, 804 yards, and 5 touchdowns as a freshman. So we're talking about a guy with 3 years of eligibility remaining, great size, 6'2", but also excellent speed. He can take the top off of defense. He did it all year. You can see there in the numbers. Had another great game in their bowl game as well, just like he did all season. He had 10 catches, 184 yards, and a touchdown in their bowl game. So if you thought what Bowie did was special, look at Cam Vaughn. And I think he's going to be a guy that's probably highly sought after in the portal because the numbers he put up as a freshman, because the eligibility that he has left. But I think and hope that Cam Vaughn is a high priority target for West Virginia to try and get in the transfer portal, and hopefully, his relationship with Rich Rod would give us a leg up. And the reports that West Virginia may be adding the Jacksonville State wide receivers coach, which was his wide receivers coach, could help us there as well. But I think this will be big because, guys, and I'm not trying to knock on Teron Grant, Hudson Clement. Love both those guys. Think they're really talented. Would love to see them potentially return. But I think with Cam Vaughn, you have a more talented player overall with a higher upside that has more years of eligibility remaining. So I think, as bad as I hate losing Hudson Clement and Traylon Ray, adding Cam Vaughn would be more than a good consolation prize. It would be a huge get for West Virginia in the transfer portal. So keep an eye on Cam Vaughn as well. But then other than the visits and offers that we talked about in the last live stream, here's a couple others that have happened since then that I'll close out this transfer portal update with. And that is most recently West Virginia offering a defensive back in Teron Grant, who's currently committed to Texas Tech. However, you see him putting out West Virginia offered 12 hours ago. WVU Recruit fan page here sharing he's a transfer from defensive back from Purdue, but he was a 5-star in the 2025 class, but he reclassified and came in early last year. So another guy with 3 years of eligibility remaining that would be a massive pickup. So maybe that should be the highest target there on the defensive side, Teron Grant. We're talking about Cam Vaughn on the offensive side, so keep an eye on that one. Of course, we also have some of the Jacksonville State players visiting WVU this weekend, I believe, that are also defensive backs. So we'll see some defensive back movement here very soon, I think. So, and that's been kind of one of the main things that West Virginia has been targeting in the portal, and rightfully so. And we have one more that we've offered as well to wrap up with here, and that is Chattanooga safety Jordan Walker. West Virginia has offered him. That's reported here by Skylar Callahan, as you see here on X. 1 year of eligibility remaining, so there's a safety West Virginia's after. I also think that Jordy Scruggs, a really talented player, is coming on a visit as well. So you got multiple defensive backs you're targeting, multiple defensive backs visiting, and I think we're going to see some movement on the offensive side, particularly at that wide receiver position in the near future. We'll see what happens, but we'll keep you updated here on the CRW in future transfer portal updates. But that will pretty much do it for this one. Like I said, keep it locked here by subscribing to the channel if you haven't already. We'll keep you updated on what's going on with West Virginia on the transfer front, the recruiting front, as this roster builds. And, of course, this staff's going to continue to build as well. We'll have news on that. Going to hopefully come back with a live stream later today. That's my plan, get to chat with you guys a little bit, talk some coaching news and such like that. Didn't want to cover too much in this video. Didn't want it to get too lengthy, but I appreciate you sticking it out with me. If there was a few updates I wanted to share there, including the main one that led to the video, Traylon Ray hitting the portal. But let me know your thoughts on how you feel about these portal entries, or how you feel about some of the players West Virginia is targeting, or who you'd like to see West Virginia go after. Whatever you got there, throw it in the comments. Always appreciate those interactions here on the CRW. And like I said, before you head out, hit that thumbs up button. Be sure to subscribe here to the channel. As always, I'm Jordan Cruz, and until next time, let's go Mountaineers.